What happens when students don't learn and teachers don't teach? Because the AIs do it all for them. Picture this, a student types a prompt, explain the cause of climate change in 1,000 words. Within seconds, a perfectly structured essay appears. The teacher receives it, uploads it into another AI tool, and the algorithm grades it. A+, insightful argument, clear structure, excellent tone. Everyone feels efficient. But no one has actually learned anything. This isn't a dystopia, it's an early glimpse of what many educators already fear. A future where the process of learning disappears behind automation. Psychologist Robert Bjork calls this the illusion of competence. When ease feels like mastery, AI might make learning easier, but it might also make it meaningless. Welcome to the essay infinity loop. Over the past 2 years, generative AI has promised a revolution. Instant feedback, personalized learning, automated grading. These tools can genuinely help, especially when used to scaffold thinking or model examples. But used carelessly, they risk turning education into simulation. In research, scholars like Selwyn and Wiliam warn that AI's greatest danger is not error, it's efficiency. Because real learning, as John Dewey argued a century ago, requires friction, trial, reflection, adjustment. When every task becomes instant and perfect, the struggle that makes understanding possible disappears. So what happens when the very system built to support learning begins to replace it? Let's enter the loop. Here's Maya, a first-year university student balancing classes, a part-time job, and constant exhaustion. She's bright but overwhelmed. The cognitive load is too high, so one night she lets AI help. The essay it writes sounds just like her, only better. The grammar is flawless, the idea is coherent. She reads it, nods, learns nothing, and clicks submit. On the other side of the loop is Mr. Alvarez, an experienced teacher grading 120 essays that week. To cope, he uses an AI marking assistant. It analyzes structure, tone, even originality. It suggests comments, strong argument, clear thesis, consider expanding your conclusion. He approves each one with a click. In cognitive science terms, both have outsourced metacognition, the thinking about thinking that underpins deep learning. Without that reflection, learning becomes mere output. And so the loop continues. Week after week, the essay keeps coming, perfect grammar, synthetic insight, predictable phrasing. Maya begins to lose her own voice. Mr. Alvarez, relieved by automation, loses his curiosity about what students actually think. The learning theorist Donald Schoen calls this reflection in action. It's the loop between doing and thinking that builds expertise. But here, that loop has been hijacked. The AI doesn't encourage reflection, it replaces it with prediction. Even formative assessment, the heartbeat of good teaching, starts to vanish. Feedback is fast, but it's not formative. Comments are accurate but hollow. For students like Maya, feedback becomes something to receive, not something to respond to. For teachers like Mr. Alvarez, grading becomes data management, not dialogue. And here's the twist. The AIs are learning. Every essay, every rubric, every click helps the algorithm improve. But humans, the supposed beneficiaries, are learning less. In the essay infinity loop, the teacher and the student have become the data set. The philosopher Shoshana Zuboff calls this instrumentarian power, when our behaviors train systems that in turn shape us. Each new prompt refined the model, each new grade refines the metric, and the more perfect the system becomes, the less room remains for imperfection, the very thing from which learning is born. To err, the Latin root reminds us, means to wander. In this loop, no one wanders anymore. Educational researchers have been warning us for decades about this danger. In 2012, Dunlosky and colleagues reviewed a century of learning science research, and their conclusion? The most effective strategies, such as retrieval practice, spaced repetition, elaboration, it depends on effortful struggle. Similarly, Vygotsky's zone of proximal development reminds us that growth happens at the edge of difficulty, where guidance meets challenge. But automation collapses the zone. If AI completes every step within the zone for us, there's no stretch, no learning. We risk raising a generation of students fluent in outputs, but illiterate in thinking processes. And teachers seduced by convenience may become data custodians instead of designers of meaning. But this isn't an argument against AI. It's a reminder of what education actually is. The purpose of schooling was never to produce perfect essays. It was to cultivate minds that could wrestle with ideas, form judgments, and create meaning. AI can be a powerful partner if we design with intention. Use it to generate examples, not answers. To spark reflection, not replace it. Transparent pedagogy, inviting students to discuss how they use AI, turns the invisible loop into an open dialogue. Process portfolios, oral reflections, and co-created rubrics return agency to both sides. Because when students show how they learn, not just what they produce, the loop reopens. The essay infinity loop can become a learning feedback loop again, if we put humans back in the center. I'm Dr. Yu-Ling Lee. If this reflection resonates with you, if you've ever felt caught in the loop, share this with another educator, because the future of learning doesn't depend on faster AIs. It depends on slower, deeper humans.